digital product agency. We are located here in Providence, but with members all across the US. And I am Jess. I am the project manager for Motel. I am originally from North Carolina, where I studied environmental science and then moved up to Providence through a fellowship called Venture for America, which sets up recent college grads with startups in cities that have struggling economies. Is a nice way of putting it. And when I was here, I met Caleb through our mutual friend John Bittner, and heard about the work he was doing at Motel, and decided to join this awesome crew.
That comedy got really dark there at the end. I'm Caleb. I'm one of the founding partners of Motel. I grew up in Oklahoma and moved to Providence in 2010. I was recruited here through Beta Spring, and I've stuck around in Providence and have had the pleasure to live here and work for great companies like Splitwise, and many others. And a couple years ago, I founded Motel with a good friend of mine, Mark Johnson, who was originally in Nevada. So we've been remote since day one, and it's a big part of our culture.
So I said that we're remote. Okay. And we are scattered all throughout the US. We're in Portland, we are in Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Tulsa, Boulder, San Francisco, and we have contractors that are as far flung as New Zealand. So it is definitely a pretty integral part of our culture and something that we have that's really sculpted like our process and the way we work. And we do a little bit of everything. Our members come from really diverse backgrounds. So we do everything from full stack development to branding and logo. We've done book design and do marketing creative as well. It's really all over the board, but with an emphasis on digital products. So our process, I know that we're here to talk about process, so this might not be very satisfying, but our process is fluid and flexible. Since we do such a wide range of products and we work with a really wide range of clients, we found that we really have to vary the way we work to match their needs and also to match the needs of our team members who are on the project. But at a high level, the first step is to talk with the client, really get a sense of what are they looking to get out of this, what are their high-level goals, whether that's a website or a mobile app, we really want to know what their end goal is. And then from there, we will talk with them about the tasks that we need to accomplish to get that done, and then break down our resources accordingly. So whether that's a front-end dev and an illustrator, or we need a marketing, someone doing copywriting, and then someone doing back-end development, we will talk with them about what resources we need on that project, how long we think that's going to take with those given resources, and then how much that's going to cost accordingly. So for instance, we have this client out in San Francisco. They are what I would call a modern day eBay. If you have something that you're trying to sell, you use their app, you just quickly take a picture of it, you put a price tag on it, and then through their app you can manage all the logistics of selling it to someone in the nearby area. So they came to us, they approached us about doing marketing creative for them, and we did a first round of designs, met back up with them and said, okay, let's look over the data, let's see where the highest click-through rates were and the highest conversions were, and start to mold our designs around that. So we came to these three larger themes, which is this sort of quirky illustration style that had really high click-through rates, like realistic photos and actual postings from users. So they had a user sell a Jeep through their app, and that spun out into one of their ads. And then one centered around holidays or things that are happening are relevant to like pop culture at the moment. So they approached us and said, we'd like to combine two of these. We'd like to do a quirky illustration and something that pertains to the time or the location where we are. And they're out in San Francisco, which is big NBA Warrior territory. And so they said, yeah, we'd like to tie it in with the Warriors. So our first idea was this. Sort of, if you don't follow the NBA, these are the Warriors colors. To tie it into scoring a good deal through their app, but also, scoring baskets in basketball. So this was, someone threw this in our Slack channel as like a first round idea. And then we sort of riffed on it and said, that's great, but you're really not conveying that someone can sell and take pictures with their phone really quickly and do this. So sort of second round was this. And then we ended up with this idea of both buying and selling and being able to make money off of the goods that you're putting there, while also bringing it into the basketball theme. And then for them, we also made a variety of sizes and adapted it so that they could put it across Facebook, Twitter, all of those sort of channels.
Oh, this is my part. I'm going to talk about Squad Locker. So Squad Locker is actually a local Rhode Island startup. They're based in Warwick. They were a traditional team apparel company. So you have a team, you have a pee-wee, you're the parents of a kid in a pee-wee league. They need garments to play in, practice in, whatever. So you have a logo, you have a color, you need products. Squad Locker digitizes all that and puts it on the internet. So you can go to squadlocker.com, upload a logo, and buy Under Armour gear with that logo on it. And they ship it all directly to the teammates' homes. So we were tasked with redesigning the dashboard, what we refer to as a dashboard, which is where users live after they've done all that. So I've gone to squadlocker.com, I've uploaded a logo, hopefully, maybe not. I've selected a team and I've said, okay, I'm ready to roll. The problem was after that point, things weren't really happening. Squad Locker has the very unique and fortunate problem of having a giant funnel at the top. This is a long-known problem. They have no problem getting people in. But how do we turn open, maybe incomplete lockers into active lockers? Products or lockers that are selling products to people and making Squad Locker money. So we approached this not unlike we approached Close 5 with a bunch of user data. We knew that this had some basic user requirements, right? They need to upload logos, change colors, manage their team, all those things. So that was kind of some of the more simple things. So if you look at this, this is phase 1. It's kind of a wireframe phase, as you probably tell. You have some basic information. It's hard to see out there, but you have the logo, number of garments, team members. Here you can kind of see these steps. So these steps are helping people launch a locker in a way that we know sells well. So it has a great logo. A great logo doesn't have a white background, right? It has super high res. So walking them through them steps, helping them launch a locker. And then we've brought in other data like how many logos does a team have or a locker have? How often do people relaunch teams? These are important things to know when you have somewhere where you're managing something, somewhere where you have a list. And those are the types of things that drove this design, this kind of experience. And then we said, do we have that experience now? One, how do we make this look more like the rest of Squad Locker? But also, how do we make this easy to search visually? We had this really beautiful design that I loved. They had a giant logo. They looked like, this is killer. This is my team. The problem is, people launch the same locker all the time, so you have a million of these beautiful things that all look the same. So varying that up a little bit. Can we go to the next slide? Making it more focused on which team they belong to, what's expired, when does it launch, those types of things. And then can we go to the next one? Similar stuff here. This is all different phases of kind of a locker's launch and open and close. And then final step here is bringing it fully into, this is what Squad Locker looks like. This is how I easily visually find something in my dashboard. More focus is on creating a new store. More focus on launching my locker. Yeah, that's it.
And a lot of those were driven by feedback with clients and them saying, hey, like our goals have changed. We really want to emphasize launching a new store and getting as many created as possible. So that's what sort of led to these new iterations. So as a remote company, building products together is difficult. So we rely a lot on tools, like virtual tools, to collaborate. Envision is one of our clients, and it's a wonderful tool that we use for mocking up design prototypes, where you can leave comments and collaborate together. Pivotal Tracker is our go-to for design developers, where it's very easy to see what subtasks are being worked on and which ones are already completed. We live our day-to-day in Slack. That is where all of our conversation happens as a remote team, and it can be anything from like hilarious GIFs to really serious talks about timeline and like what we're being blocked on for a project. And then if things get too mired down, we'll just hop into a video conference. So we use Zoom and Appearin and a lot of other tools to really manage the challenges, the logistical challenges of being a remote team. And so what we've learned from being a remote team, we've learned a lot. The biggest takeaway we have is communication is key. Clear communication is difficult, but poor communication can mean pushed timelines. It can mean someone wasting a day when they didn't realize that they have a higher priority task to do. When you're in Slack all day, you lose a lot of the nuance of human-to-human conversation, and being able to recognize that and recognize when something is going down maybe an unhealthy or bad path with your coworker and popping out, even just doing a video chat, which is sort of our first step to mediating that situation, is really useful. It's something that we're getting better at every day, and is really necessary to making sure that we don't have breakdowns in communication and that we are having healthy dialogue between our coworkers. Also, culture has to be built remotely. We don't have the luxury of having water cooler conversations or being able to go to the bar after work. So we're really intentional about what kind of culture we're creating and how we're doing that. We have recently started this thing that we're calling Flophouse Fridays, where we encourage all of our team members to either not work or not do client work, or just do a few hours in the morning and then take the rest of the day to focus on learning a new skill, either alone or with another Motel member, or doing whatever they need personally to recharge. So one of our designers in Portland, Jason, he is learning Logic, which I don't know if any of you know it, it's some music software, so he's creating songs, and he's collaborating with one of our other coworkers, Mark, to make these collaborative songs, which is really great, and we get to benefit from it, but it's probably not something he would feel comfortable doing in work hours otherwise. And we also have yearly retreats where we meet everyone in person and talk about higher level goals, like where is Motel going as a company, what are weaknesses we've identified in our culture or in our process, and then take those in-person moments to reflect on that and work through like a plan for the upcoming year or upcoming months about how we want to improve those. And bad Wi-Fi is as a remote team. I say that as a joke, but it's also my reality. Bad Wi-Fi, it can be a blocker to productivity. It can also ruin client meetings. And I say it as a joke, but it is like a larger point about we really have to plan ahead for a lot of our daily activities. Like, I cannot take a client meeting on a metro in New York. That's just not going to be productive. So you really have to be conscious too of people in different time zones, making sure that you're respecting their time, and also laying out clearly for them what they need to work on for the next day so that they have a plan, they know what they need to expect or what they need to plan for, and can really make sure that they're having the most productive day possible, and that they're not waiting on you to do anything. Yeah, so that's it for now. I know that there's a Q&A, so feel free to ask us any questions you may have. And then you can always reach out to us at any of these profiles. Thank you.